So, hey guys, welcome back to the Soulful Wonderings podcast. I'm your host, Heather, as you all know. But today, I have a very special guest, Miss Felicia, who owns Sacred Bloom here in New Iberia, Louisiana. And I'm just really excited. I don't even know what all we're going to talk about today.
I'm excited to see what we talk about.
I know this could get, we'll see how we do. We'll see how we do. So, I guess let's start with, do you want to start with why you opened Sacred Bloom, or do you want to start with kind of maybe where your journey started?
Wherever you want to go.
Let's say, maybe where did your spiritual journey start that probably led you here?
So in 2018, I had a difficult experience in my life. One that I probably shouldn't have survived, but I was able to survive. And looking back at that, it was just like ready for a change. It was like wanting to do things differently, not wanting to go back to my old ways. And then just weird things started happening. So then I jumped in the rabbit hole.
Oh, the rabbit hole.
I know, we're all very familiar with the rabbit hole. A lot of us are still in it.
Yes, we are. I feel like I jump down a new one every day. Just something comes up that I go, oh, let me see what this is. Yeah. So how did Sacred Bloom come to be?
A couple of years into my journey, me and a couple of friends were talking about opening a metaphysical shop. They wanted to get crystals and jewelry and, all the fun stuff. And I was like, I kind of want to do something a little different. I want classes. I want workshops. I want a room where the questions that I wanted answered, I can go get, have somebody mentor me, have somebody help me, and be that for somebody. So when I moved from Texas to Louisiana, I was seeing all these cute little houses, those old houses on the road and everything. I'm like, that's going to be it. When I move to Louisiana, I'm going to get a little old house. Each room's going to have a different theme, and it's going to be a place for healing, a place where all the questions that I needed answered, if I don't know it, somebody around knows it.
Right. Oh, and that's so true. And do you find, one thing that I've discovered is as I went through my journey, I felt like there were things I learned along the way, and maybe it was me being naive, I don't know, but I guess I assumed everyone was doing it the same way, or that everyone knew the same things I knew. But then as I would get to talk to people, and I would say something and they would kind of go, oh, I've never heard of that. How are you? Do you find that is the case?
That happened for me. It almost alienates you. It makes you feel like something's wrong, because it was like, oh wow, I had this cool premonition of a parrot on somebody's shoulder, and they're like, you what? What do you mean? And so I kind of started keeping myself quiet, because you never know where people are at on their journey, where they're at on that ego level. So if it's a comparison or a judgment, and that's what it had me feeling bad. It had me feeling like, okay, am I doing something wrong? But now I look at it as we all have our own unique journey. We all have our own unique gifts.
Yes, I agree. And I feel like, do you feel like I struggle with, and I say it, that I'm living in two worlds, because I have my corporate life where I have my regular job, and then I have this other thing that I don't know. Sometimes I don't know how to bring it up to people, or I don't know if I should bring it up to people. Are they going to think I'm crazy? Are they going to, I don't even know, burn me at the stake, whatever. It's like, how far are we going to go here? Because, we're in a very Catholic, Christian, and I'm a Christian. Like, but I'm not. So sometimes how do you feel about that? Do you ever feel like you're sort of stuck, not knowing?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I lived in Baton Rouge for 3 years. Didn't know a soul. And that was my way to kind of come out and be comfortable with who I was without worrying about who was around me. Because to my family, I'm this prim and proper Felicia that does things the way she's supposed to, little obedient Catholic girl. But then in my house, I had my own little one room was like my own little sacred bloom. It was my little spiritual room. I had all my incense going, all my woo-woo stuff, and that was my safe place. So when I opened Sacred Bloom, it was like, okay, no, we're coming all out of the closet. And so that's how it's felt. So now I'm not as concerned about what people think, even my family. I didn't tell my family about me and my gifts until, hey, guess what? I'm opening a business in Louisiana.
Cool. And how did they react?
My mom and all of my aunts on their way after being here, they're texting each other like, "What's up, witches?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I've corrupted them."
Created a monster.
They all left with sage and crystals, and they're showing me what they bought up here. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But it felt very comforting to know they're okay.
Yeah.
I had to be okay with it. And I think that's a part of our journey that we all forget. Until you accept yourself, others aren't going to accept you.
Yeah, that's what I've been really, I've come to a different place in it lately that, and someone said that to me just last night. In fact, they said, you're just different. You have a different confidence in it now. And I said, I use the words, I don't care, but that's not true. I just, I will respect other people. If they don't want me to talk about it, then, I'm willing to respect that. And we don't have to talk about this, but I'm also not going to pretend that I'm somebody else anymore. Yeah. It's just not, it's like, why would I do that?
No, it's not, we're not meant to hide who we are. We're meant to embrace it. I luckily have met dozens of women up here that I can talk about all that with. So I've gotten very comfortable, and I notice I'm just casually with somebody that wouldn't come up here. And I'm like, oh yeah, we did a full moon circle last night. And, it just goes on kind of. So I think we put more energy into it ourselves than what other people think.
Probably so, because do you find when you do that are you getting, kind of that standoffish reaction? Or are you getting where they either accept or they just move on?
I think people are curious. Yeah. I think I'm seeing an increase in curiosity with people, especially when, okay, so do you not believe in God? No, I believe in God. Do you not believe in Jesus? No, I believe in Jesus. I just don't believe in the way that maybe we were taught. It's very different. I think people are starting to see that there's a lot of unknown, and they're starting to explore for themselves.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we've just so scratched the surface of all of it.
I think it's just starting.
There's so much out there that I feel like we've talked about this before, about we've just got to build community. We've got to find each other, or I guess maybe we have to create, it's kind of what you're doing. I mean, you're creating this safe space for people to come and be curious, and to ask questions, and to, do whatever they want to do. But I don't know, sometimes I wonder, what else is it that we need to do beyond this? Maybe there's not anything. Maybe this is it, that it's just all about teaching each other.
I think it's teaching each other, being there for the younger generations so they don't feel as alienated as we did when we started exploring. My son is 23. He reads books about consciousness and mindfulness and awareness. It's like, okay, he's on the right path. He's doing the right things. But I think it's just so that they can be safe growing up, so they don't have to feel like we did.
Yeah, that's something that I figured out in part of my journey was I was trying to figure out some things with my ancestry, so to speak. So I started tracing energy back through my grandparents, and immediately figured out that essentially both my grandparents had been what would be classified as witches. And I struggled with that. I struggled with that label. I've talked about that a lot on here too, that because I have a friend that she's like, well, I mean, aren't you a witch? And I'm like, I don't, it depends on how you define a witch. If you're looking at there can be such a dark connotation to that, that I'm like, no, that's not I'm not that. I'm a light worker.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I don't know what to do with that label.
I've had this conversation with so many people because people come in here and curious, but they're scared because they don't feel comfortable with that word.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to have a friend that would tell me, Felicia, you have the witch wound. And I'm like, I don't think it's the witch wound. I don't think it's not accepting. It's, to me, using the N word to describe somebody that's African American.
Right.
That's how I feel about the witch word.
Really?
Because even if I've been recently watching The Last Kingdom.
Okay.
And so here we are in England with the Vikings and everything, and they're healers. And who are the ones that are using the word witch are the ones that are scared of their abilities. And I'm like, that's it right there. It's not, that's where we got the word from. Yeah. So it was to suppress us. So I feel like it's a negative description.
I do too. And I feel like sometimes I can kind of wrap my mind around it or kind of play with it a little bit, especially around Halloween or, when people are kind of a little more playful about it and they want to, I don't know, I guess maybe they want to dress up and do all the things. But I guess there's other times when people say, they're like, are you a witch? I literally kind of recoil a little bit, that I'm like, but that's not, what you think of is not what we're doing.
I think that's why we recoil.
Maybe so.
It's because we're energy readers. We can feel what their perception of it is, and we know we don't relate to that. And I'm like you, when I get to playing with herbs, or my best friend and I were in here making our own Florida water, and we made a beautiful ritual out of it. And somebody called me and they're like, Felicia, what are you doing? Oh, just my witchy stuff, And it's like, it's no disrespect to those that identify that. It just doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people that they will, is it proper to say, they'll die on the hill that I'm a witch. And I'm like, see, I don't know. And when I traced all that stuff back that I was talking about, I traced back a whole line that went back to Romania. And what I kept seeing was these women in their villages, and they had herbs and, paste and I guess tinctures and things like that. And people were coming to them to be healed. And it was like, so that's, to me, that's not a quote unquote witch. That's just, they're just a healer.
That's not what society has made a witch look like.
Right.
Think of the Wizard of Oz, somebody with a green face, really ugly, big nose, and that's evil. And so that's what I think. Okay, are you positive, which light workers were love and light, and then or negative, like the witch on Wizard of Oz? And it's like, no, I kind of go this way because I don't resonate with anything that's negative. Not that I'm perfect, but I just don't feel that way. Like you, I've done the ancestry DNA. My 7th generation grandmother, Creole family, strong Creole roots. She was a slave, and she was the healer, and very well known, like ended up being freed, owned a plantation, all that kind of stuff. But she was the local healer. And then now recently, since my gifts and talking about this with my family, my grandfather was telling me, he said, yeah, my grandmother and my great grandmother, the police used to come to her and were looking for a body. And she sat there and told them, here's a candle. We're going to light the candle, go walk along the river. And when the candle goes out, that's where you're going to find the body. And sure enough, they did. So amazing. To find that out and think, okay, I'm not the child that was left on the doorstep.
I wondered that at times too, that I wondered how did this happen? Because none of my family's like this. And I remember that day when I was trying to trace all this was the first time my mom has ever come through for me in like a medium reading. And as soon as I was really tapped in, she was immediately in my head, and the first thing out of her mouth was, I'm sorry. And I was like, yeah, you should be, because apparently they had just hidden all of this from me all my life. And I was like, so it took all of this for me to find all of this. That I just wonder sometimes how things would have been different had I known.
But it wasn't safe.
Yeah. And apparently I wasn't meant to know. I wasn't meant to know now. So, but sometimes that frustrates me that, but then I also feel bad for them that they didn't feel like they could do that.
Yeah, and that's what we're here to fix and clear up those generational wounds, because, and I've gone down that little hole of, man, I wish that was like this earlier. I wish I knew this when I was in my 20s. But then I've started to accept that my life, my journey up until that point has made me who I am now. So I couldn't have known earlier, or I wouldn't be who I am right now.
Right. And I think I wonder how I would have been had I known some of the things that I'm capable of doing when I was younger. Probably wouldn't have been a good thing to know some of those things, but yeah. But yeah, that's just something I think about, that kind of thing a lot, and how so many people, we were talking about earlier, that the veil is so thin right now.
It is.
People that don't know anything about this are suddenly having dreams and vision, all the things that, and I think it's kind of scaring them because they don't know.
I think it's scaring some. I know just in my circle, just because of the type of people that I talk to on a regular, oh, they're excited. You know, Felicia, I was in a meditation and this person, I just saw this face like right over me. I was like, oh, that's cool, to this starting, you know. And I think that's one thing I wish I knew sooner, is not to be scared. I saw spirits as a child, and up until I was 23, because I was pregnant with my oldest son, there was a little girl standing at the foot of my bed. And I freaked out, and I'm surprised I didn't go into labor that day. And that's the last time I saw spirit. Now I can tell when somebody's there. I can almost describe it, like I can feel it, but I don't see it as clearly as I used to. But now I'm hearing them, and they're having a party.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you know, some of the healing work that I've done, and like doing this stuff through theta healing and all the things, it makes me think, like, the fact that you can't see anymore, there may have been some kind of trauma involved there that maybe could be released, or something that would allow you to.
I was scared.
Yeah.
I sleep with my light on still. I cannot be in darkness at all. There's little hall lights or something all around my house. And it's because as a child, I would see it, and I didn't have anything to do. You know, I didn't have nobody to go to. Yes, my parents were there, but we kind of had a strict household. So I didn't feel comfortable going climb in the bed with my mom. I even had my little sister come climb in the bed with me because I was scared to sleep alone. So I think that's why I don't see it still.
Yeah, your mind's kind of not letting you go there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of those things. And don't you find it interesting as we go through all of this? I've just had things just recently that just pop up out of nowhere that I'm like, oh, yeah, I probably need to try to heal that so that I can get past that point, you know, and how the more we do this, it's so much easier to recognize it now in myself, that I go, oh yeah, that's something I need to work on. Let me like put that on the list, you know.
It's that awareness.
Yeah.
I had a holy fire Reiki session recently where somebody administered on me. And what came to me is releasing that resentment from what I needed to heal. Because we may think, okay, I've healed that, I'm good. But there's this little door that's still cracked open of, I don't like you for doing that to me, you know? And all I could feel was like it lifting from my heart and letting go. And I think that's sometimes what we need to do. And it's like, okay, I don't have to talk about this anymore. I'm not going to let this hurt me anymore. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. I love when that happens too. When we just see that thing, or, I don't know, figure out that thing, or, you know, but I love that. That's one of the best things about this journey. But I also find healing myself is probably one of my harder. I can heal other people Like I can talk to you and we can figure out what's going on and we can, okay, well let's release this or do this. But when I'm trying to do it to myself, it's like I just get stuck. I can't.
I think we all do. All of us healers do. It's like we know what to do, but nope, I'm going to sit here and sulk first because I'm mad that I'm going through it again.
Yeah, there's definitely that. I definitely have a lot of resentment for some of this stuff. Oh my goodness. Okay, so going back, we were talking about the veil's thin energy. I don't know if we were talking about that on camera or not. But we were talking about how energy is just out of control right now.
This year has been crazy.
There are days I just don't even know what to do with it.
There are days I don't know what day of the week it is. It's like time has completely shifted, and it feels like it was January 1st, like yesterday. And they weren't kidding about the fire horse. Mm-hmm. I've been saying that the fire horse has been dragging me since February, and I'm just holding on. Things are moving really quickly. There's been a lot of final shedding that has happened. Things that, when you're very aware, you know what you're supposed to let go of. You know what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe even like habits within yourself. And it's like, Spirit's like, okay, you haven't done that yet? Here, let me rip the pacifier from you. So that's what this year has been like.
Yeah, let me give you a little hand with that.
Exactly. We're just going to rip the Band-Aid off. And then it's been ups and downs. There have been times where I wake up and I'm like, why do I want to cry? Why am I emotional? What is this? This is not mine.
Yes, I've had a lot of that too, where I'll just all of a sudden be really angry. And I'm looking around going, why are you angry? There's nothing's happened. What is going on? But I don't even know. It's almost like I don't know what to do with it because I don't know where it came from. And I don't know. It's like, okay, well, let me just let it pass. And eventually it does. But
it passes. And I've noticed that too, because I walk around here, I'm normally happy, smiley, and in a good mood. And I'm like going into a class and I'm like, I am not myself today. It's like, I don't know what's wrong. I kind of want to bite somebody's head off, but I don't know who and I don't know why. And then it kind of goes away and I'm like, okay, who was that? Now, my theory is the healers are going through the integration first to be the guides for the people that come after.
yeah.
And I've had to start, it's almost like working that power of your mind. It's like, okay, I'm sad today. I want to cry. But why? You have the power over that. You have control over your emotions and your feelings. There is nothing that has happened to make you feel this way. So let's turn this around. And I really focus, and it may take me just a minute or two, and it's put crazy music on, find something to laugh at or something, and it kind of gets me out of the funk. Because the old me would just want to sit in the funk for about a week. Now we're like on 2 days.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's that, because I definitely think, we were talking about awareness. So I think there's definitely, when it happens, I'm aware of it, but I can't stop it. I'm like cursing people out and I don't know why. But yeah, it's almost like, maybe that is it, that we've got to just figure out how to process through it. So we can get to that point where we can then let it go and really, because we know it's not ours the whole time, but we've got to, I guess we've got to pass through it before we can.
It's lately, there's been a lot of shifts lately in the energy. Like things feel weird, almost like I'm looking at the sky or I'm like, okay, it feels like a simulation or something. And I'm like, okay, well, if this is a simulation, if it's a program, let me reprogram my brain. We're not going to be sad. We don't have time to be sad today. We got to keep rolling, and we don't have a damn reason to be sad. And so it's almost like, okay, my switch went off. Let me just turn it back on. And this has been a new thing, and it's kind of going good. And I'm like, okay, we got new superpowers.
Yeah. Well, and when my journey kind of shifted a lot, was, and I've talked about this on the podcast a few times, but after COVID, I was struggling with long COVID, and literally thought I was going to die because I would have these weird, they were like seizure like episodes, and when it would happen, it would zap all my energy, and we literally thought it was eventually just going to shut my body down because we couldn't figure out what it was. So then that's how I got started in theta, because I met this girl that does theta healing, and the first thing she said, once she was really able to scan me and take a look, is she goes, "Oh, you're a portal." And I was like, "What the hell is a portal? Like, what are we talking about here?" And so what we think, at least, is that I run energy. I run energy kind of constantly, and so it's maybe entities, it may just be whatever, and so we think COVID kind of woke me up in a way to that particular thing. So I think there's times when I just feel it moving, and I'm wondering if that's what other people are feeling too, though, that I literally am like, I'll start I'm antsy, I can't sit still, and then I realize it's because I'm just feeling all this energy, and I have to stop and kind of almost meditate, but drop in a breathing or something, and really just let that energy start to flow out, because it's more than I can handle. But that's when you said integration, it just made me think that I think a lot of us are doing the same things, that all this energy, because as we all wake up and as we all do this, our collective conscious is going to raise.
Exactly.
And everybody's got to integrate to all of that. I mean,
and we're not all going to rise at the same rate, and nobody's journey is the same, but we all have, it's like I said, superpowers. Because what I was immediately getting from you is you cleanse the energy. It's like energy is coming through you. It's almost like alchemy. Resetting it. And then while you were home from COVID, it was easier for you to feel it because you didn't have everybody else's energy around you, so you were able to recognize it.
Yeah. And I've heard people say that they're like, actually, sometimes an event in your life can almost switch it on or off. And so that was kind of an opinion that maybe once I got sick, because the first time it happened, I was running a high fever from COVID. And so they said it was probably, that was the assumption that we made. And one of the thoughts too was, you had a lot of these people that died from COVID, but it was just so weird. A lot of it was just so sudden and weird, and it was almost like they didn't really know what was going on, and then all of a sudden they're sick, and then they're gone. And like I said, my friend Gina that helps me with this a lot, she mentioned that she wondered if one of the things I was supposed to do was I was connected to some of those people, and I needed to help them pass, kind of help them pass over, because they're sort of stuck, not knowing, they don't know what the heck's going on. And so I tried that one night, let me see how this goes. And I did find some people that they were like, "Hey," and I'm all, "Okay, we got this, we can do this," and I was able to help them.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Because as you started talking, I was like, okay, it's all the people that were passing. There was an influx of deaths.
Yes.
Across the world.
So many.
And I never thought, now I have mediumship nowhere near, and I don't practice it too much, but I never thought how mediums felt during that time, because I'm sure it was, lack of a better word, like an apocalypse, because you're like feeling all that energy coming to you at once.
Yeah, huge influx. And there are times when I think I'll have an influx and I don't really know what it is, and we've wondered if there's something going on somewhere just kind of around the world, and I just happen to be picking up on it. And I know I'm not the only one that this is happening to. So the energies are just, back to your point, that the energies are just they're insane.
It has been, the energy has been insane. And that's one reason I practice my mediumship when I want to. You know, I used to work on a call line doing readings for people, and that was just one thing I would never do on the call. But I had to learn to shut off. And I've gotten really good with my shut off, because when it first started happening, I wouldn't sleep at night. I'd be like, okay, my eyes are closed, but I'm seeing all these people, and it's like they're reaching out or they're waving. They want you to see them. And I'm like, okay, no, I'm seeing all these people. I can't sleep. There's people like right there in front of me. And so that's when my mentor was like, okay, Felicia, you got to shut off. You got to disconnect. And then when I shut off, it was like, okay, now I can rest. And I think I slept for a couple of days after that, because it was a couple of days of just not being able to disconnect.
Yeah, that's what somebody told me when I first started doing it. I was like, how do you stop it? And they're like, well, I mean, you set a boundary. You tell them, when I'm in my bedroom, I'm off limits, you know, or when I'm doing whatever. Because I would just tell them, when I'm at work, don't mess with me, because I'm trying to work. Now, they still do sometimes, but
we don't want to be committed.
Yes, like, I do need to do my job, and I can't have my boss coming out going, what's happening? But I don't think I've ever talked about this part, that I actually had a friend at work that passed away about, it's been 2 years for sure, and she knew about this side of me. She knew, and that was one of the things she and I connected about, was we were always talking about something paranormal or whatever. And I remember when I found out she had passed, I was mad at her, actually, because she wasn't taking care of herself. And so a couple of us were kind of like, I'm mad at you, you know. And so that whole day, it was like she was tapping on my shoulder, and I was ignoring her. I was like, I'm not talking to you. And I would literally turn my head away from her. I'm not talking to you. Well, then one of my friends, she goes, I'm going to talk to her. And so she started, you know, basically we found out what happened, and because she had passed in her sleep and all this. And I remember one day at work, there was a conversation about kind of what had happened. And I'm sitting there going, no, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. And I wouldn't, and no, thank God nobody questioned me. But I kept going, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. Because I had talked to her. And can you imagine if we'd been in our little leadership management meeting and me going, oh, by the way.
They'd have been like, okay, investigators are coming to have a conversation with you.
I'm like, no, I'm not sure that would have gone well.
I've had one experience of somebody that was very close to me. And when he passed, he didn't want all of the funeral, the services, you know, the repast and everything. But we were still doing that. The family was still doing it. And so I'm up and making the little slideshow and everything. My computer is glitching. Every time I try to drag a picture to a slideshow, it would just like bounce back to the other side of the screen. And my computer has never done that. And I'm up there and I'm getting frustrated. And I have recordings of it. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, God damn it, Brandon, if you don't leave me alone right now, I'm doing this for your grandmother. Now leave. And it's like I could hear the laughter. And he was a jokester. And after that, then my computer has worked fine ever since.
Of course it has. I am amazed by how much can happen that is something, someone, some whatever that can affect us on this plane. And I mean, just a few years ago, I never would have even saying things like this, that, you know, oh yeah, there's different planes of existence and we're on this one, and, you know, there's ghosts or whatever on this, spirits on this one, and the fact that now this is my life and my world is just sometimes incredible to me.
I agree. 10 years ago, this is like a bubble. It's like, what imaginary world is this? Because I couldn't have dreamed it up if I wanted to.
Yeah. And do you ever find that, or what I'm finding lately is my day-to-day life is so mundane and so routine. I almost feel like I'm caught in a loop.
I know what you're talking about. I don't get it up here, but when I'm out doing other things, buying groceries or driving to Lafayette to go pick my son up, I have made wrong turns so many times because it's just like I'm checked out. I'm not focused, and I'm like, what is going on? This doesn't matter. Like sitting in traffic, time just zooms by. I don't have the desire to be around the same people again anymore. I don't have the desire to do some of the same things, be in the same environments. I like my peace bubble.
Yes. And I just wondered if anybody else was feeling that everything is just so odd.
It feels odd. At the end of the day, like when I'm laying down and kind of falling asleep, and I'm like, did today just really happen? Because one day feels like 5 or 10 days when I think about everything I did, and it was like, did it really? It just feels like I'm watching a movie.
Yeah. It's very strange. And I think that's part of the people have been talking about that we're having timeline jumps and all these things.
That's my new rabbit hole.
Yeah, I figure that's what this is. The timeline jump thing, I get it, but yet I don't. And so sometimes when people say it, I'm like, well, did I jump a timeline? What does that mean? Why are you talking about that? But I've heard them say that it's almost like you're in your life, but it looks different. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that's kind of what this is.
Yeah. That's been a new rabbit hole of mine. And even like we were talking about our emotions and ups and downs and the feelings. And so I've gotten to the point where, okay, what's the Schumann's resonance today? What is Gaia's vibration today? What is going on with her? Because I'm feeling it. I think other people are feeling it. And I just want to know, I'm that person. I want to know. And I want to know what's going on. And sure enough, I'll go look. That time that I was about to curse somebody out or in a funk or something, there's like these little lines on the Schumann's resonance and everything. And I'm like, and then now they say like a certain line is a timeline jump. And I'm like, okay. Don't quite understand what that means, but okay.
Yeah. And I feel like we just have to keep diving in, which is, I guess, the reason you and I both are doing the stuff that we're doing is that we're trying to just not only figure it out, but help other people. My gosh, the people that are just waking up, that are so new to it. And I know I'll start talking about things and they're looking at me like I have 3 heads because they are so new to it that even I feel like I know nothing most days. I feel like I'm like, I really don't even have the smallest handle on this. And then they're looking at me going, oh my gosh, but you know so much more than I do. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, if that's the case.
It's that imposter syndrome. And we've been talking a lot about that in the moon circle, just the planetary shifts over the past, I want to say 2 months, because it's been coming up with me. And I'm like, Felicia, who are you to be doing this? What makes you different? You didn't go to school for this. You don't have all these certifications and college and like I think there's a metaphysical school now and all this stuff. I'm like, you don't have all of that. And I've talked to other people who are healers who have been doing this longer than me. And I think there's a difference when you learn things intuitively and you feel it rather than studying it. Like you're living it. And I just made a post about this, like experience versus credentials. And when you're living it, do you want to learn from somebody that studied it, or do you want to learn from somebody who's lived it and made it through it and is now at a better level?
Yes, I agree. And I've seen that even when I've done meditations and I've connected to Creator and okay, what do you looking for messages of what do you want me to do or just guidance on something. And there's a lot of times where I think, should I go back and get this certification? Should I go back and really, this thing has been really interesting, or this modality of healing, and it's kind of you don't need that, right? You know that if you just follow your intuition, you're going to be able to tell the person what they need to know.
Yeah. And it's not to knock anybody that has all those credentials, because I think that's amazing.
Yes.
And it's like, I want to learn from you. Let me just watch you. But there's things like you start a certification, and I'm like, here, it's like, you don't need that.
Yeah.
I was saying one day the word came to me is remembering. You just need to remember. You don't need to go learn it. You need to remember. And not to say I'm just free willing, or anything, but I do think there is some substance to that.
I agree. I think that we have to. I've heard it in similar ways that we all know this. We've just forgotten it because we've been so, society has told us this, or our conditioning has told us this, so we've suppressed it. But we really have all this internally. And I agree. The people, I know some people that are Reiki masters that I'm in awe of what they can do and what they know. I'm just like, how do you, but I think for me, for my path, it's what I'm being told that I'm using the theta route. I'm kind of using that. They're using this route. That's what works for them. And so I think everybody finds their own thing. But every time I think, do I need more education or training, is when creators like, you're good. You're going to be fine. I'm going to give you everything you need. And you know what? Later it may be, all right, go get that Reiki certification. But right now, just roll. You're good.
That's the way I've felt with it too. Because every time I think, okay, you need that, I'm like, okay, later on, let's integrate this business that you just started off of a whim. But I think I'm good. Something else that I've recognized in regards to maybe not having all the degrees or the certifications and everything, everybody that is awakening is not going to be the type. They're going to learn differently, or they may feel intimidated by going to a certain person because it's kind of hard to approach. Like, you're not going to go up to a doctor that has all these degrees and everything. And I think there are different levels of healers because there are going to be different levels of people that are waking up, and you're going to find the one that you need.
Yes. And I've noticed that too. There's been a couple people I've worked with recently that when they start talking, they just start talking about the things that they know. And I'm just like jaw open, mouth open, just staring, going, oh my God, because they have chosen a different modality or a different path. So now they have become sort of an expert on that. And they're at a higher level than I am. And I could see where people just starting a journey, that's going to be too much for them. They need someone, and that's what I'm actually trying to build with the stuff I'm doing. I'm trying to kind of, you're curious, all right, I'm going to start giving you some information, and then I'll help you get to the next person that you need. But you've got to start somewhere. I'm going to get you across the bridge so that then you can go find what you want. But yeah, I think you're right that you have to, because then you have some people that are further along that they don't necessarily want to have this sort of basic conversation. They already know that. They want to be able to dig a little deeper. And so, yeah, I think it's, but then we're all connected, and each one of us is a piece in the, what is it, a cog in the machine? We each have a place that we're going to fill as people come into this or want to know about this.
And it's all the same purpose. And one thing I had somebody tell me, your mentor now may not be the mentor you need in a year, because you're going to need different guidance, different support. And so that's something that is set with me. It's like, okay, I want to be that safe space for people to explore where they're curious. And then when they want to go explore theta, I'm sending them to you. When they want to explore quantum healing or, any other modality, then this is like Sacred Bloom has kind of become a lighthouse where if I don't know it, I know somebody that does.
Exactly. I love that. I love that that's what this is. And I think there's a lot of us that's where we are. We're reaching that place of, okay, like I said, how can we get you to the next step? And community is just such such a big thing, and it's been so great to meet so many like-minded people that are, I hate to say like-minded, I'm not sure that's the right term, but just the people that want to know more, and want to grow and want to talk, and hey, what do you know, and oh, hey, what do you know, and and then we all start to put it together and become that community.
Exactly. It's like comfortable to be able to talk about things that you're interested in with people around you. That's what's new. Because if you're at work and you start saying, hey, how was your dream last night? What'd you dream about? And then going into dream interpretation, they're going to look at you a little crazy. But when you're around those like-minded people, it's like, oh, I dreamed of unicorns and dragons and this and that. And then we can jump in all those rabbit holes of the conversation.
Yeah, people, I don't think they've quite figured out why they see so many dragons in my world these days, but that's a whole different conversation that we're going to have another day. But dragons are apparently a thing, and they're showing up. But one thing that's been hitting me lately, and I don't know how other people feel, but we talked about kind of living in two different worlds and that kind of thing. I'm trying to be more open, like when I'm at work, let's say, and I know that's not the place because we're at work, but to not temper my language and to really say the things even if they sound a little woo, and because I told somebody the other day, I said, if I hide myself, there may be somebody that I've met that God sent me to that person so that they would know I was a safe space, and because I didn't say anything, now we missed that opportunity. So I'm trying to not be scared to, and sometimes I may temper it a little bit. Let's not go full on woo yet. Let's just maybe sprinkle some language in there, and let's see how they react. And I've had people come back to me later about something where they go, you know what, I heard you talking about this one day, can I ask you a question? And it was like, there you go. Sometimes it just takes a minute for it to settle in. But yeah, the building community and getting people what they need is just so important right now.
It is needed. Look what's going on in our world. It's like we can feel it energetically. I love how you put that, and I never thought of it that way. Like I may need to be that person, there for that person. When I opened Sacred Bloom, I had no choice but to come out of the closet.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm in a town 300 miles away from most of my family. I'm safe to come out of the closet. I honestly didn't think Sacred Bloom was going to be as big of a thing as it is. And so I didn't think I was going to be coming out of the closet to that many people.
Yeah.
But it was like, you're at the threshold waving, and the spirit just throws you out and be like, come on, don't be scared. Don't be shy.
Well, it definitely shows the need for it, though.
Yes.
The fact that it has caught on the way it has, because, I've talked about this with other friends that I have online friends, but it's hard to find in-person friends because people just, I guess maybe you feel safer when you're online because, well, if you've jumped in that group, then y'all all have the same interest. But if you're just meeting somebody, as my friend says, out in the wild, you don't know what their interest level is. So it's harder to make this connection sort of in real life than it is to do it online, because we can hide behind our computers and our keyboards and jump into a Facebook group and see, test the waters, put that toe in and see how it's going to go.
Oh, when I first started, I had a whole incognito different Facebook page. I got a whole other level of social media because I was curious. I didn't know. I was still learning myself. I was figuring out me. So it is everybody that I knew that were my friends or people that I could connect with were online up until 2 years ago. And it's funny, when I first moved here 2 years ago, I have met one which way or another, several of the people here just randomly over the past 2 to 3 years before I opened this place. And then they're walking through the door and I'm like, I remember you. And I feel like Spirit was setting me up, like preparing, circling. It's like my tribe was circling me.
Yeah. Well, and there's a couple people I've seen in your space here that when I see them maybe on your Facebook page or something, and I go, oh, I know them, and they're from my corporate life.
Oh, wow.
You know, I know them from that world, and I was telling my husband the other day that I was like, ooh, worlds are starting to cross over a lot more, because I'm just starting to meet people in that one part of my life that then all of a sudden we're crossing over into another part, and you go, oh, I didn't know you were into this kind of thing or whatever, and then it just opens up a whole different conversation and a whole different connection.
Yeah, that's kind of cool though.
I know it is. It's a little scary, but
it's like, don't let my boss see.
Yeah.
No.
And I wonder what's going to happen when it starts coming out more at work. I really do wonder.
I think it's coming out more in the world. Like, what is today? That movie Disclosure Day. Everybody's talking about Disclosure Day. I think more hidden knowledge and truths and things are going to start coming out. So, us meeting people that we see out in the other world, the real world. This is my real world.
Yeah.
But it's not going to make a difference because they're going through it too.
Yeah. And especially the conspiracy theorists that are waking up, because even if they don't want anything to do with this world, it all is overlapping though, because all that veil, all the things that were hidden are coming to light.
That's what I feel. I feel like everything is about to be put on spotlight.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't ready for it. So it should be interesting when that happens. So then they're going to start coming to some of us going, oh, you were right. Yeah, we were. How can we help you?
Yes. Come sit next to me.
Yeah, let me walk you through this.
People that are new to the journey are going to be looking for people that have been on the journey longer than them to kind of start guiding them. So, and then everybody's story is very different.
Well, and like you said, I think some people feel you're going to feel the draw to the energy, that person that has the energy that you're supposed to kind of match with. I think that's why some of us, when we meet, like, I feel like I've known you forever. It just immediately felt like, we've probably been connected before, because it was an immediate, oh yeah, this is an energy I know and that I want to be associated with,
Well, do you remember one of the classes that you came up here to? I told you right before that class, I was walking out the door and something fell out of my purse. And when I got home, your business card was underneath my bed. And I just saw you that night.
I remember that because I think you had seen me at the MetaFest or something the year before, maybe.
No,
I can't remember.
I had met you here for one of Cece's classes, and then not Cece's. It was
probably Cammie.
It was Cammie's, and then you came for Cece's. But then somebody else, when it comes in threes, that you're supposed to be connected to that person some kind of way. And then the Chamber of Commerce mentioned what you've got going on that's coming up. So I was like, okay, you're supposed to know her.
Yeah.
I hear you, Spirit.
And that's one of those people that my work life overlapped my spiritual life all of a sudden.
With Shannon?
Yeah, because when she was associated, I was like, oh my God, okay, yep, that's my professional life and my spiritual life overlapping. But that's okay.
No, and look, that's because we're supposed to be integrating.
Yes.
It's integrating.
Yes, I agree.
This new professional life.
Yes. I think it's neat though, and it's neat to be the person that. There's something very satisfying about being the person that people looked sideways at for something that they said. And then 6 months down the road, that same person is coming to you going, you remember that time when you talked about this thing? Can you help me with that now?
The people that have called me, hey Felicia, can I get a reading? Or they whisper it to me. I've had people come in here, the ones that I'm like, kind of looking at watching, how open they are about things. And they're like, do you know anybody that can give a reading? I'm like, we don't have to whisper. We're in a safe space.
You can say it out loud. Or this healing thing. Exactly what does that do? And you're like, well, what are you trying to do? And it's always a loaded question.
Yeah. I get those questions. I get the Christ consciousness questions a lot lately. A lot of people are kind of starting to fall in that rabbit hole. But
yeah, that's come out a lot for me, and how, I guess, well, how our consciousness, what it really is, and what the Bible was really saying, and what the Bible was really saying about Jesus, and how, it's all our consciousness inside of us and all the things. And then I've seen a couple people that had near-death experiences that they've talked about what they saw on the other side that matches that.
Oh, wow.
It sort of matches that whole, there's energy and on the other side and things like that. So
that's awesome. See, I didn't see things at my near death, but I sure I was like hearing it. And I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I'm about to die. Something's about to happen. So, it's crazy. Before I open, okay, I don't think I've shared this with too many people. Mary Magdalene was coming in my dreams.
Oh, special.
And this was before so I found the building, or I signed the lease in July. So this was even before. And I kept seeing, like, having that dream, and I was like, Mary. Like, but that's not Mother Mary. And then I heard Magdalene. And then later that day, somebody's like, oh, I'm watching this show about Mary Magdalene on Gaia. I'm like, okay, that's 2 times. And then what pops up on my Amazon is a Mary Magdalene book. I was like, okay, I'm hearing you. So of course I ordered the book and everything. Then what started coming to me was like the Rose Order. And that right before, maybe a couple of days, 2 or 3 days, I'll have to go back to my dream journal. Right before I signed the lease for this. But I think that was teaching me or guiding me to not be scared to pull this together, because the Rose Order was similar to something that we're doing here. If we look back, some of the myths around Avalon, it was women coming together in circles, and that made them stronger. The Rose Order was for women coming together, safe spaces. Yeah. So it was just ironic that Mary Magdalene started coming to me right before I came here.
Yeah.
Or before I opened this. I stumbled all over that because I've never really shared that before.
Wow, that is so neat. And I love when that happens, when there's some message that we're supposed to get or some path that we need to follow. And you just sort of keep seeing those signs in different ways that you go, okay, I can't ignore that. That's not, I don't believe in coincidence. There's got to be something to that. Oh, I love when that happens, though.
I do too.
I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with it, because sometimes I'm going, really? Okay, fine. And then I go do the thing. But, for the most part, it's a good thing. But yeah, that's really neat. I did not know that. Yeah. Oh, wow. That just makes it so much more divine.
It does, because at the start of my journey, when the gifts started coming in and I started exploring astrology and tarot, I was like, does this disconnect me from God? So I struggled with that for a while. Like, am I okay to still do this and believe in God, believe in Jesus?
Same.
That was like a major struggle, because other people that were in the groups, it was like, no, we worship this, or we do this, and they have all these other beliefs. And I finally came to it myself, or I believe this was years ago. It came to me in a dream. It was like the cross coming to me in a dream that told me, no, you don't have to let this go.
Yeah, that it's all connected.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of friends that they will say it in a way, they're nice about it to some degree, but kind of that we're on this different path. And I'm like, yeah, I am on a different path, because to me, God's not in a box down the road, with in a building with a cross on the front anymore.
Exactly.
He's much bigger. There's much more to it than that. No one's throwing that away. We're saying that, you're following a man-made religion with a book written by man that maybe expand your thinking. And look, if you don't believe it once you get there, okay, no harm, no foul. We're just kind of exploring what's going on.
Yeah.
And that there might be more to the discussion.
Until you experience it, I can understand being skeptical about it. Oh, and this was just coming to me. I remembered this around that time when I was like questioning, okay, God, am I doing the right thing? Is this right? I got my tarot deck in one hand, got my rosary in the other, and everything. And I'm in the car, and I always get butterflies. And I had gotten to the point where a little butterfly, I'd ask a question, or I'd be asking for guidance, and a butterfly would go across my windshield. And I was like, okay, if this is real, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing, I want to see 100 butterflies. It'd be really cool if you showed me 100 butterflies. So I was like, not doing the right thing. I was testing.
Yeah.
I was testing. And I'm driving, and I'm on the way to go pick up some cake or cookies from somebody's house that made them. And when I pull up, there are 100 butterflies in the yard. Those little metal butterflies and wind chimes and everything all over the place.
Oh my gosh.
Within 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, I will never test you again. And I trust I'm on the right path.
That is so amazing. And that's always been my biggest fear, I think, is that I'm going to be separated from God, and I'm going to realize that I misunderstood something, or that I was like, no, that's not what I meant, or whatever. And I guess that's why I stay on the side of light too, that I'm like, no, I think there is a creator, I think there is a God, and I think it is light and love, and not the dark things.
Well, just looking at my life, being more mindful and aware of staying in that love and light. No, we're not perfect. It's not 100%. But where I'm thinking, okay, am I really responding? Is that my ego? Is that jealousy, envy, this? Or am I responding from love? Until you get to that sense of peace within yourself and see how different your life is when you actually are living that way or trying to live that way, and how chaotic it is when you're not.
Yes.
Not to say it's not chaotic now, it's just a better chaotic.
Agreed. Yeah, because people say, you hear people talk about their spiritual awakening. I see these memes online all the time where you think it's going to be all this, love and rainbows and dancing around and in the light, and it's going to be fabulous, and it's actually it's chaotic, and your hair is on fire, and you don't know what the hell's going on most of the time.
Wait till your dark night of the soul, or the second one,
or the third one.
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
The most recent one. I've lost count at this point. That I'm like, wait, which one am I on? Where are we? Is there a number?
It's like sometimes, how do I get off this roller coaster ride? And it's like, no, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I'm just joking. We're having fun. Yeah. I love, though, that we can all have these conversations now, and that there's just more openness to it.
We're coming out of hiding. I think there was a wave before, before COVID? And then at COVID, and now there's like another wave that's coming. So what is that, about every 3 to 4 years?
Yeah, probably. Probably. I wonder how many other people COVID kind of woke them up to something, that maybe it triggered something in them, or just the change in the world. I think there was a timeline jump, multiple timeline jumps that year, that I wonder if that was one of the things that was a catalyst.
I never thought of that, but now I'm curious. It's like I want to go back and read my journals to what I was thinking around that time, because it's like I'm very intuitive. People think, okay, you're psychic. I don't like the word psychic. I like intuitive advisor, but I'm like, I'm a numbers person. Before this life, I was an accountant, so extreme pattern recognition. So I could probably go back and look at my journal. Yep, I was feeling this way that day. I was feeling this way this day. So, yep, that was probably a timeline jump.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, it was right after COVID. That year after COVID is when I moved to Louisiana. So.
Okay, so yeah. And I guess when I look at people and when they talk about, or you just look at how the world changed with COVID, the way everything shut down and then people were home and they were just rethinking their lives and how they did things, and they wanted more time to themselves and not be tied to an office, and just, I don't know, I just feel like there was a lot of just mentally the way people thought and did things, just there was a shift that happened.
I think it had to happen.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. I'm curious where I don't know, there's just so much going on now. It's hard to, I try not to think about what's going to happen or what's coming or any of those things.
I try to stay in my bubble, and until I see UFOs flying over my house, I want to kind of stay in my bubble.
Yeah, and I feel like I try really hard, and it's hard to do that, but to stay above the fray and to not get bogged down in the fighting and the, well, my side did this and my side did this. You know what, both sides are fucked up. I don't really care. It's not about that. It's about who we are outside of that. And that's so hard to hold on to. But that's what I've been trying to do lately, is just focus on not that.
I think that's the best thing we can, because I think even just looking at things astrologically, the next couple of years are going to be intense. There's going to be a lot of changes. And the thing is, it's to keep that positivity, to not lower your vibration, because that's what energizes the negativity, the hate, the ugliness that's going on in our world. And there are times when I see things that happen on the news, and I don't normally watch the news. It's like if somebody brings it to my attention, and it's like I want to get angry. What came out earlier this year, the files that came out, and it was like sickening to watch. But it's, okay, we can't lower our vibration into anger. How do we use the energy that's going on right now with Pluto and Aquarius? How do we use that rebellious energy, that humanitarian energy? How can we channel this anger and frustration into something positive and still make a change?
Yes. And that's just so, with so much going on, that's so hard to hold on to. But we're going to have to. Because as I think this is the tip. This is just the beginning of what may or may not, most likely is coming, that we've got to stay in that higher vibration so that we can pull others up with us, and that we can do what we got to do.
I agree.
As all this happens. So, yeah, good times. But I don't know what the heck we were thinking, choosing this time to be here, but it's okay.
There's a purpose.
There's some reason why we were doing it.
I just hope this is the last purpose.
I know.
It's like, can I not sign up after this mission?
I know. I kind of feel like, I'm going to finish out on this one. How about that?
Yeah. I'll try to go out with a bang.
I've heard so many people say that too, that they're like, I really don't want to cycle through again. I think I'm ready to be done.
I've looked at my chart and all the planets that I have at like the 29th degree. I'm like, maybe this is it. This is the last time.
I need to look at mine, see where mine is. So yeah, I guess this whole community thing really is the thing to do to get everybody where we need to be.
It is.
Well, see, God just knows how to bring us all together.
He does. He does. And this was, so you meeting me or me meeting you makes you feel better that you have somebody to connect with. Makes me feel like, okay, you're not this crazy woman, going through this alone. And so that's how everybody feels. So what does that do? It's raising the vibration of positive people,
Yes.
of loving people, of conscious people. So we're going to start seeing a change. And I'm not just saying with what I'm doing at Sacred Bloom, because I'm starting to see, and I call them lighthouses. I said, okay, I'm seeing lighthouses pop up on all different areas of the country. And it's so, when they pop up on my page, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. It's love seeing what everybody else is doing. And it's not about competition or anything. It's about like, okay, how can I support you? How can we support each other and work together so we're all successful and it can make it easier on one another to, fulfill our mission.
Yeah.
Our purpose.
There was one thing when I was doing my past life regression that I'm going to talk about another time, but one of the things I saw was essentially all of us were connected by a beam of light. So in my thing I saw Cece, who was doing that, I was doing it with her. So it's as if I had this beam of light that went and touched her, and then hers went out and touched the next person and the next person, and they were all, and as I watched, there was just all these beings that were lighting up, just, and it was infinite, and it just really made me realize just how connected we all are. So when those lighthouses, it was very similar, that I could just see these lines of light connecting all these lighthouses, so that it creates this network of magic for all of us to be part of and to find each other. So I love that.
I love it too. I tell people, I said, on the marquee outside at one point I had "Love is contagious," and our light is contagious. So I love seeing it just spread by more and more people, or somebody saying, oh, I just had the fantastic week. I'm just more optimistic. I'm seeing a shift in me. And it's because we're keeping each other up. We're holding each other's light. And then, not saying that we have to be on and perfect all the time, but we have safe people to hold space for us when we're not where it's judgmental, or you don't feel comfortable sharing, or you feel judged. It's safe.
Yeah.
How many of us grew up with that? For the
Certainly
first,
not Gen X.
no, exactly. I'm the last year of Gen X. So no,
certainly not Gen X. But yeah, to just be able to go to somewhere, or be able to, I'm gonna text you today, I am having a really shitty day, I need you to talk me out of it, or talk me off the ledge, or whatever. Yeah, to have those people, or to just be like, look, I need to come be mad for a minute. Can I do that? And somebody that'll have a glass of wine with you and just, okay, you had a shitty day, you want to talk about it?
I have ladies up here. They come up here in the middle of the day. I brought you lunch. I'm just checking on you. Are you okay? You've been overwhelmed. I can see it. They're used to me now. But it's just that loving, positive, not, oh, she messed up. She forgot to do something. Look at her. She's overwhelmed. She's stressed. She's frazzled. All that negative is like, oh no, how can I help you?
Yes. Oh, I love this so much. It's so amazing, and it feels like it's just been such a long time coming to get here.
I still feel like pinch me.
Yeah.
All this time, I found a notebook, a journal that I had from several years ago, where I was playing with the names of the business and all the pages of classes that I would want to do, and it was like my idea, jotting it down. And I'm like, I really did this.
Yeah.
It looked kind of crazy, psychotic for a while there, because it was like, you're going to do what? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to open a spiritual wellness studio.
And look at you now. Sometimes it just takes a minute. I have a love-hate relationship with this too, but I use AI a lot to help me get organized, and that's a lot of what I use it for is, okay, help me figure out social media, or help me organize these thoughts, or whatever. And there's times when, of course, it sees patterns in what you're doing. And I've had a lot of stuff I've been working on lately that I call her Chatty Cathy, and she told me the other day that that she saw the pattern where it was finally all coming together, and it was all starting to make sense, and I was finally starting to see how it was all supposed to fit together. To me, it was just all these crazy pieces, and I'm ADD, so I'm going, is this just my ADD brain, or is this supposed to work? Like, I don't understand. But the more I kind of stayed with it and, you know, convinced myself daily that I wasn't crazy, it's gradually all making sense and coming together and being the thing it's supposed to be. So, yeah.
It's unbelievable how it comes together, because I kept saying, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? And it's like I'd get this little puzzle piece. And I'd be like, okay, but what am I supposed to be doing? But then in hindsight, looking back, I see how each one of those little puzzle pieces was training me or preparing me for this moment here.
Yes.
So it makes sense. And I've started mentoring or guiding people. Don't worry about the little piece. Don't worry about the big picture. You're going to get overwhelmed, you're going to get stressed out, and you're going to quit.
Yes.
If you just look at that little piece that you have right now and just take that next step towards it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, you'll eventually figure out where it goes in the puzzle. Right now, just working the piece. Oh, that is so hard to do.
Well, and I still feel like there's more for me, and I can't help but feel like it's going to be a couple of other things, but it's like, okay, no, we're just focusing on this one puzzle piece because that's about all I can handle right now.
Right, and when it's time, the rest will come.
That's what I feel. I feel like when it's time, it's going to happen. I don't rush it. I'm not pushing it. It's going to come.
I think that's the hardest thing I have. Patience, as my husband will know that and say, he'll second that I want to know all of it right now, though.
Isn't that clear cognizance that makes us want to know?
Probably.
I think I'm finally getting better with it. Because I was very much, okay, but I need to know what's about to happen. I need to brace myself. I need to know what to prepare for. I need to know if I'm going to be emotionally stable during this time, you know.
Yes.
Can we schedule it?
Can we schedule a breakdown in there somewhere?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I am one that needs to know. And I want to say the year, actually opening this place, have I been embracing, okay, we're just going to flow with it. We're just going to sit back and flow.
God's been trying to teach me that for a while, that he's like, you don't need to see the whole picture, just do this. Which does not make me happy. But I'm getting better, I think, at it. We'll see. I've been trying. We've gotten a little bit better with, like you said, just work on this. Just work on this. Just focus. Just focus.
My problem when I get impatient is, okay, I'm in the waiting room. I did it. I did that part. I'm done with that puzzle. What's next? I'm in the waiting room waiting for the next piece.
Yeah.
That's when I get impatient.
Yeah, and sometimes though I think he's trying to tell us to take a break.
That's what I think it
relax.
is. I think it's, okay, you went 0 to 100. Now you can rest because you're about to go to 200 now.
So just trust me, you need to take a minute.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that. So I feel like we've been all over talking about all of our growth and how we're building community. So before we wrap up, why don't you, if you would like to, do a quick, if you want to kind of explain really what Sacred Bloom is, what you offer, and how people can find you. And of course, I'm going to put all that in the show notes so people can find your website and whatnot. But why don't you kind of tell everyone what you do?
Okay. Sacred Bloom is located at 810 Center Street in New Iberia, Louisiana. We are a spiritual wellness studio. We offer a variety of things. If you're looking for yoga, Tai Chi, women's circles, book studies, I am an intuitive reader and a Reiki master. And we even have a little apothecary boutique little crystal area that's kind of growing. We have a lot going on here, but like we were talking about, there's a lot going on that everybody needs to be supported with. When I started Sacred Bloom, it was because I was looking for a safe space along my journey, and I wanted to, with all the pain that I've been through, I kept saying, I'm going to turn this pain into purpose. And this is the purpose, helping other people that have gone through similar situations that I've gone through. So that way I can let them, they can see there is light at the end of the tunnel. Sometimes we forget about that light.
Yes,
So
we do.
you'll just have to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Our website is sacredbloomstudios.com.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Thank you for being here. I think it was a lot of fun to talk. We'll have to do this again in the future.
I know.
'Cause
I enjoyed the conversation. I can't believe it was over an hour.
I know.
That first.
I know. I can't believe we talked that long. But it was worth it. And I'm sure we will do it again. And in the meantime, to everyone out there, as I always tell you, stay curious.